am here recording another video for you guys with my review of this recent Housewives episode. Let me get it together. I don't know if this season is not really given as much. I'm gonna take this brush off, otherwise I'm gonna be banging, banging, banging. It's not given as much as I want it to. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't want to say it's just the cast. Some of the stuff I want them to kind of move past and actually just start living. We're supposed to be seeing them live their lives, not just argue and fight all the time or just come together for an event. I want to see what's going on in their lives. I get some of that with this episode, but it just hasn't been like that a lot this season. So the episode starts out with Kandi taking her son Ace to acting lessons. And he's so adorable, so cute. He gets through his line and, he's congratulated. I could see this being a start of an empire for Kandi and her family. They shoot to Marlo cleaning up the house or getting things together for the boys to come back. She talks to her niece, Crystal. I think it's her niece. Was it her niece or her sister? I think it's her niece. And she tells her that she's bringing in an educational aide to kind of help her set boundaries with the boys, which is always good if you're not really familiar with how to navigate in that space with kids, because they have to have boundaries. Looking back over Marlo's situation with the boys, I mean, it's like basically you gave rules, and it's one thing to set rules, but you have to follow up. You have to do your part, which means getting up and checking on them to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Otherwise, kids will run over you. They won't do it if you don't make them do it. That's just the nature of kids, of children. So they'll try and get away with whatever they can. So it's good to see her trying to bring someone in to help her with that. I don't necessarily agree with her giving away the boys for as long as she did or sending them away. I mean, I may have reacted in the same way. If I walk up in a room in a house that I'm paying for and there's trash and there's junk, there's going to be an issue. I don't know if I'd have put you out, but you may have got something tossed across the room upside your head. I mean, I'm that type of mama. Just saying. But anyway, it's good to see that they're coming back, and she says she misses them. And I'm sure they miss being there with her as well. Then we flip to Drew at home and how she's recuperating. She gives an update on her surgery, and that she's basically drugged out and trying to recover. And Sheree shows up to visit, which was kind of interesting. At first, I was like, "This is the one that shows up," but no, it was a nice gesture for her to stop by and check on Drew. And later, Sonya comes in as well. This is the type of stuff I want to see. You can have your squabbles and, petty differences, what have you, but when stuff gets serious, come together and be supportive of each other. That's what friendship is. I mean, and again, we don't have to be the best of friends, but if we're going to be in a friend group, it would be nice to have that type of support. And that was a nice gesture. So Drew, asked the girls to review what happened at the last meal in Jamaica. And so Sonya basically tells her that she got ate up by Kenya. She ate her to bits, to smithereens. She wasn't prepared. She wasn't ready. And it is crazy because she admits it. She knows that, there was no way she was going to be able to handle Kenya in that way, and that she's lacking in that area. And in the course of the conversation, Sheree brings up the fact that while on the trip, Kenya said that she thought Ross was aggressive and that she was scared. And so, of course, like we discussed in the last video, this is just one of those things when you're talking about African American men and women, it's a stigma that's placed on us saying that we're aggressive, that we're, always ready to fight, evil, nasty, whatever. And it's just not true of everybody. I should be able to express myself, even if I'm cursing, and not be labeled as aggressive. I could be frustrated. I could be hurt. And I could be letting you know how I feel, and it shouldn't automatically be aggressive or angry. Sometimes it may seem like I'm angry when I'm really not. I'm just frustrated because you're probably not listening to what I'm saying. And it's going to come across as, angry because you're not listening. But anyway, saying basically tells her, this is a stigma that's thrown upon African Americans, has been thrown at us for centuries. Um, and then it's not cool. So Kenya's like, well, I'm sleepy. I'm gonna have to call you when I wake up, what have you. And she basically just kind of shuts down the conversations. Well, Sanya ends the phone call and basically says, this is three strikes, giving you three chances. Um, and you've been disrespectful three times. She hung up the phone on her. Um, what was the second one? It's been several. She talked about her food and her event. She's been kind of nasty. She didn't show up on time when they were in Jamaica for the different excursions or what have you. And here you go. Now you're talking about the woman's husband trying to put him in a box of aggressive and angry. When, come on, he was just standing up for his wife, which I would have appreciated. I know she appreciated, because I know in that moment he recognized, oh, my woman is not going to be able to handle this. Let me open my mouth and help out and just shut it down. And that's what he did. I know to the producer's chagrin, they didn't want it to shut down. They wanted content. But in a sense, they did get some content, just the fact that he stood up and did what he did. But anyway, I mean, I don't do disrespect. Well, I'm not sure about how anybody else feel, but you hang up the phone on me. I told you I'd have been done with it right then. You don't hang up the phone on me. You tell me I'm getting off the phone. If I don't agree with the conversation, I'm going to end this conversation. Don't want to hang up in your face, but I need to go. That's all she had to do. All that other dumbness she does. So flips to uh Sheree in her model call. Um, she asks Kenya to come in and I guess assist because she's former model, blah blah blah, and that she has experience in the area. So we're introduced to Rowan, who is uh, Sheree's new event coordinator, who's she said has done fashion shows in the past. She's been to a couple. She liked her, and that's how she hired her on. Well, of course, Kenya comes in, Miss Big Bad Bold. I know everything, you know nothing. I'm the model, what do you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's just, it's too much. Now, you talk about aggressive. That was aggressive. That was disrespectful. That poor lady, she kind of held her own, though, but it was, I'm not gonna say hard to watch, but you feel bad because somebody's trying to be professional and do their job, and here comes someone just being ugly for no reason. You don't know that lady, and I get it that you're trying to be passionate for Sheree and trying to light a fire under her, but disrespecting that lady is not the way to do it, frankly. Um, and even in the moment, you shading this young woman, and then you jump and shade Sheree as well, talking about if she spent a $1 million, it was to bill collectors. It's like, come on, help the girl out. You ain't got to be so difficult about it. Um, her and Rawan go back and forth a couple of times, and she basically tells the girl, "You don't know what you're doing. This is your first rodeo." Blah blah blah. And they kind of, again, Rawan was. I like how she handled it. She gave as much as she got, and she didn't go overboard with it. She said, "Oh, if it makes you feel better, then I'm going to concede that." And Kenya said, "Oh, yes, it makes me feel better." Well, good. She switched like confetti and something. She said that made me laugh. Um, that's just how you gotta handle Kenya. You gotta be quick on it and just give it right back to her. So most of the models that were there didn't really meet the standards for a fashion show, from what I can gather. And well, most of them were short, and it was I want Sheree to, and I have a feeling she doesn't know what she's doing. And she's biting off so much more than she can chew. She's trying to jump into this uh, arena, not really knowing the ins and out. And instead of her really hiring a team of people to come in and handle stuff, she wants to pull on the housewives to get help. Um, Frankly, I would do my whole fashion show would be done and wouldn't know never one of them, never, not one of them would know. I'd get my things done, and then the day of the event, show up. That's all I need you to do. Um, because all of this other stuff is just ugly. And, I don't like all this foolishness going on. So anyway, let's move on because that was in my feelings. So the next scene is Ralph's cover photo shoot for his book. And y'all, I gotta say, I like Ralph a whole lot better this season. In the past, he's come off as being a butt, just disrespectful, but you see a different side of him when talking about uh, Drew's son and his raising of, her son and that relationship. And I think it was really, I like that he chose to include her son's father in the process of deciding whether or not he wanted to, or whether or not he would adopt um, JoJo, and the fact that he said he wanted JoJo to decide if he wanted him to be to adopt him. Um, it's just very thoughtful, and hopefully things will actually work out. I know he said that JoJo's father actually came to an event or to a game or something, which is a good sign. Um, but it'll be the long game to see if he can actually show up and be there for his kid. Um, but I like the fact that he's being positive about it and including him in it so that his uh, JoJo would actually have the opportunity to form some type of relationship with his father, whether it works out or not. You want to give your kid that opportunity. So anyway, so they discuss uh, the fact that they're going to have a combination birthday party for Marlo and Kenya. And when they said it, I was like, dun dun dun. This is we'll see. Um, I don't have high hopes and aspirations for this one, but we shall see. So the next scene is Marlo at her townhome condo, whatever she's living in. I think it's a condo. No, it's a townhome, right? Yeah. Um, and she's got the boys and talking about new rules and how they could get their phones back, um, and the fact that the boys indicated that they missed the structure and the privilege that they had of living there with her, hopefully means that they learned their lesson and that they'll take better care and advantage of the situation that they're in, um, and do what they're told. That's basically what it is. Somebody tells you go take a bath, clean up your room, do your laundry, do it. It's that simple. And kids of that age, I have a daughter. They can be difficult, um, but hopefully they've learned their lesson, um, and she's learned one as well. You're gonna have to follow up with them kids. You can't trust them to just do what they're supposed to do and tell you the truth. You have to follow up and be the parent. I know you're not their real mom, but this is what you took on, so that's part of it. But anyway, that was a good feel good moment. Excuse me. So then we switch over to the the actual party, birthday party slash. Well, it was a birthday party. Marlo and Kenya just didn't know it. Everyone, well, most of the people didn't know. Everybody thought they were coming to just kind of support Drew in her recovery, and then they would find out when they showed up that it was actually a party for Kenya and Marlo. So Sheree showed up to the the house about an hour late, and she's got all of this mess going on with the non fashions, um, and getting that stuff together. I can't say it again. She doesn't know what she's doing. The fact that she shows up to the party, and I'm jumping ahead of myself. So she comes to the party an hour late, says she's been putting out fires, handling this, handling that. And she catches some of the shade that I guess Drew was throwing at her. Basically, you're supposed to be my partner in this. Where have you been? This wasn't supposed to be just me. I wasn't supposed to be doing all of the work. And she made a comment, well, maybe I'm only going to pay a fourth of the invoice. Girl, if you don't pay your bills, stop trying to dodge your bills. Pay your bills. How you going to pay a fourth of a party? And this was your damn idea. When they showed it, the clip, when y'all were speaking, you were the one who brought that up. You did it. How you going to pay a fourth? Come on. And it's in her house. Stop it. Pay your bills. So everyone comes in, finds out it's a surprise party, and it was actually very nice that Drew and Sheree reached out to Marlo's family and to Kenya's friends, her best friend, I want to say. Was it her best friend or her relative? I think it was a relative. And that they were there in addition to all of the girls, because you want to have some of your people when you're trying to celebrate something like a birthday. And it was nice. I love Marlo's outfit. Y'all know I'm a pinky girl. That pink Fendi, everything for me. Everything. So everybody sits down. They're having, they're making their order. They're ordering their drinks. There's a nice spread. The chef comes over and tells them what they're going to be served. And it's like a really nice feel good moment. I mean, Marlo's niece gets up and says some emotional things and, you know, says that she told everybody that she encourages Marlo to not fight with Kenya because she knows that she's a really good person inside, blah, blah, blah. And everything's seeming like, okay, this is gonna be one of them good episodes that I like, where everybody kind of just sucks it up, gets along, and then has fun. Tries to have fun because you can have fun even with people you don't like. Trust me, you can. Trust me. It's a feel good moment. And then somehow or another it gets to Kenya and laws. Good laws. Here we go. Miss Debbie Downer once again starts up with stuff that happened 20 years ago. We don't want to talk about that. When Marlo asked the question, since we made up, where did we go wrong again? You went back 50 years. That's not what she was talking about. I get it. You're upset she called you a liar. Call people out on their bullcrap in the moment and then move on. To keep rehashing stuff is just childish and petty, and it doesn't make a difference because she don't care. You said some stuff too, which the producer so eloquently showed in the clips. You said quite a bit. You called that woman a prostitute several times and a convict. But that's part of it, I guess. And at this point, just keep it moving. You don't worry about what's been said in the past. Come on now. So Drew recognizes, oh, this is getting a little bit too out of hand. They're starting to raise voices, and she asks everybody to hold hands. And Mama Drew comes in and prays over the food, prays over the group, and it finally starts to settle down. So after the meal, uh, no, it was Sheree and Drew came up with some kind of shady game where you go below the belt, something or other. I was like, here we go. I was just like Kandi in that moment, rolling my eyes. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Um, it wasn't too bad. Sonya tried to break a chair, jumping up out the chair to say something about her husband taking up for her, whatever. It was a little funny, what have you. Drew shaded Sheree about not wanting to pay the bill. And then we move on. So they get to talking about Sheree and her fashion show. Again, I wouldn't include none of these girls on anything I was doing. You find out the day of the event, show up. But it amazes me what I was going to speak on earlier, that you come to the party with invitations for an event that may or may not happen because you don't have your fashions. Those would have been sitting in the back seat of my car till I knew I had those things secured. I mean, and Kandi said it. How do you have a box invitation? You spent all this money on an invitation, crystal box or a clear box with fashions inside of them, but you have no fashions for the show. It doesn't make sense to me. Make it make sense. Again, priorities. She don't know what she's doing. Not gonna be good. Excuse me, y'all. My throat is tickling, so I had to drink something. But anyway, there's a whole lot of shade going around the table about the fashion show that they're not gonna have this. Just gonna be a party. And Kenya's saying that the model call was a disaster. I mean, excuse me. It's gonna be a lot on Sheree. She don't know what she's doing. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I don't have a good feeling about all of this. And I really want Sheree to do well. Like they did a poll of the table. Everybody wants her to win. It just don't look good. Make it make. Jesus, make it make. So the next scene we see is Sheree meeting up at a restaurant with Apollo, which was a little shocking. I was like, oh, they're friends? She said that she met him, back in season whatever, and that, they've kept in touch since he's been out. And it comes up in conversation that he also ran across Tyrone while they were both locked up. Um, so she talks about how she fell in love with him and that he did her dirty. And Apollo says, yeah, there's a lot of guys in prison, which is true, and women who will take on several men and women, people corresponding, whether through email, uh, on the phone call or whatever, using them for whatever they can get from them, and to pass time. And then when they get out, they basically just kick the person to the curb and just treat them like dogs, dog stuff. I didn't say it, but that's basically what some people do. Um, I can never see myself having a relationship with someone who's locked up for more than one reason, but primarily because, again, you don't know if they mean what they say. You have to be face to face with people and see what they're about. Number two, there is an acclimation period once they get out. They have to get acclimated back to being outside, especially if you're talking about someone who's been there for years. Um, and it's just too much to deal with and put pressure on someone to be in a relationship when they're still trying to get themselves adjusted back to living outside of prison. And I don't know if any of you realize this, but when you come out of prison, there's a good amount of time where you don't just come home and you in the house and you can go party and go do this, that, and the next. No, there are restrictions on your life for years. Um, you're not really free, even though you're home. So it's just a lot to throw a relationship on top of that. But anyway, she asks Apollo if he would model in her show, and he agrees. Um, and he talks about Phaedra and says that, he felt that Phaedra left him to die, when he was convicted, that she hadn't come to any of his court appearances or things of that nature, and basically didn't bring the kids to see him while he was locked up. Um, that's a bit controversial for me. I don't know if I would have wanted to be a part of that process either, especially if I didn't have nothing to do with it, if I had no knowledge of it. Um, I don't know if I would keep kids from their parent. I know I wouldn't necessarily want my kids to see um, a parent in prison. Visiting prison is not a fun endeavor. It's not a field trip. And it's sobering. And I understand her kids they're still pretty young. So I kind of get why she would not bring them to a prison to see their dad, but at the same time, that's difficult. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I like to think that I would um, be a little bit more lenient, but I don't know. It's a bit much. I've been visiting a relative in prison. It's not a fun process when you recognize what it is that's actually going on. Not fun. Um, anyway, it does come out in this conversation that she's still in conversations with Tyrone. Can we get a mic drop on that? Why? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Make it make sense. I wouldn't have anything else to say or do with anybody who treated me in that way. Now, granted, he's doing interviews saying that everything didn't go down the way it did, but either way, mm, yeah. So that's it for the episode. We get some clips into next week's episode, which look really appealing. Well, I guess we're dealing with the actual show where Tyrone shows up. Um, I don't know, y'all. It still don't look good. I wanted to work for. So I'm praying that it actually works out. And I refuse to go online and look up anything in the gossip rags or anything that will actually tell me how the show went, because the information's out there on social media. You can't help but find out what's going on in day to day with these characters in their cities. But I'm going to wait and let it play out on TV, and we shall see. So that's it for this was the last episode. We got one more episode, I think. Um, this episode review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Until next time, this is your auntie saying, I love you, but I ain't your mama. Bye, y'all. I can stop it.